You know, I haven't been afraid of a nuclear apocalypse in a while. Ah, that's better.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
So the new Fallout TV show just came out on Amazon Prime. Thanks, Amazon. And I legitimately had a great time with it. With video game adaptations, everyone knows that it's kind of a sour subject. There have been a couple of good release titles from video games, looking for instance at the Super Mario movie most recently released, but that one has an easy model to follow. It's not live action, so the world is conveyed in an easy way. With Fallout, I was legitimately hesitant, to say the least. But I can reassure you, but the series is actually really good. The setting, the tone, the characters, everything does feel like as if it was in the Fallout games. As much so as Todd Howard and the Bethesda team has even stated that they consider this TV show canon, even though it does sound like the producers and the creative team at Amazon and MGM did just take the title, the setting, and all the rights to it. So I don't know if that is just publicity speak from Todd Howard saying, please watch the show, it's canon. But this does take place in the timeline of Fallout after timeline of the other games. And in looking at the timeline of the games, the Great War, which is the war that they dropped the bombs in, happens in 2077. Fallout 76 takes place in 2102. The original Fallout game takes place in 2161. Fallout 2, 2241. Fallout 3, 2277. Fallout New Vegas in 2281. Fallout 4 in 2287. And the Fallout TV show happens in 2296. So this does take place at the very tail end of the timeline in a future that we actually haven't seen in the Fallout universe yet. Now, a little history for myself with the franchise. I love and loved Fallout 3. When that game released and I got an Xbox 360, I played the heck out of that game. This was really my introduction to this type of gameplay, with an open world, with open characters, RPG elements, everything is lootable. I had never played any of the Elder Scrolls games. They didn't really speak to me back in the day. So when I saw Fallout, and it was one of the biggest games of 2007, 2008, I grabbed it, and I played the heck out of it. In between matches of Call of Duty 4 and Halo 3, I would plop in Fallout 3. And what I was treated to was a very insane world. Now, this universe does seem like it's a parallel universe to ours. It has parts which are similar to ours. It has an America, it has a California, and so on and so forth. But the technology and everything is it seems like it's based off of nuclear power. So everything is based off of nuclear power. It's kind of like nuke punk instead of steampunk, which is a pretty cool aesthetic. And you can see how the world would be different if, let's say, for example, the cyberpunk world is what the future is if technology kind of just stopped in the 80s. This is with nuke punk. It's kind of like what if technology stopped in the 50s. What would the world be like in the 2000s with 50s technology souped up, basically? And that's how you get the Fallout aesthetic in the Fallout universe. And I can tell you the show nails the setting, it nails the props, it nails all of that. It is very respectful of the franchise and of the series, which is great after considering what's happened to video game and other franchises. Now, I have not watched the Halo show. I probably won't watch the Halo show. I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. I heard more bad things than good things, but that's just not my thing. With this, I think it is going to be universally liked. I think it's going to be universally applauded. not only because of the setting, props, costumes, but they've done awesome work with the characters as well. It's nice to see that there's actual thought and care into these people and the world that they live in. And it's something that's really been missing from media in the past couple years. There is a lot of heart with these characters, with Lucy being kind of the doe-eyed new person, but able to conduct very, very gruesome tasks because of her experience in the vault. You have Maximus, who is almost like not a lost soul, but he definitely wants to prove himself to the Brotherhood of Steel because they kind of, saved him, or it's like the first thing that he saw after the events. He's always wanted a place to fit, a place to belong. The Ghoul, who we find out a lot about his backstory, and is a great example of how to show heart, is kind of like the emotional backstory of it all. Because of his age, he was there when the bombs originally fell. Now, while we're talking about the characters, I will say that none of them are perfect people, which again leads to well-rounded characterizations. They have flaws. They all aren't very good. Like the one who is probably the cleanest is probably Lucy, but they all do things that they all lie. They all, try to survive in this wasteland. They've all killed, especially the Ghoul. And I think another big theme about future stuff is kind of like the dehumanization of humans and the bodies, the defilement of bodies per se. Like with Cyberpunk, you get robotic appendages. In this, it's just decay and drug use, that kind of stuff that the body just isn't cared for anymore. But yeah, Maximus, he betrays the Brotherhood, but for a good reason, I suppose. He does lie. He does take advantage of people that he thought were friends. But these are our three main cast of characters, and they all work extremely well. The story, the plot, is one we've seen before. Fallout 3, looking for my dad. But there's a lot more to this story than just finding the dad. There are layers of the story that are revealed later on, and what you thought the story was is not what it actually turns out to be. Now, I'm going to put a spoiler warning for anybody that wants to hop out. Just know that the show is good, it's worth your time. But we find out that all of them are related to each other, and the world is a lot smaller than it appeared to be once she came out of the vault. Lucy's father is involved with the Ghoul, who in the past was a movie star, was a cowboy movie star. And we figure out that everybody that is a overseer of at least the 30s, we may not know about the other vaults, but all of the overseers of Vault 33 were actually Vault-Tec employees. So Lucy's father was a lower level executive with Vault-Tec, and he actually got to meet the Ghoul when he was a movie star. Since the Ghoul was married to a Vault-Tec high-level leadership executive. And then with the tie to Maximus, Lucy's mother and herself actually ran out of the vault and escaped. And they ended up setting up shop, setting up life in Shady Sands, which is a city in California, ran by the New California Republic. And the dad just releases a nuke on it and destroys it. Unfortunately, Maximus was in there as well, and he survived by doing the old Indiana Jones thing inside of a refrigerator, which I don't think actually works. Please don't do that. So those final layers of the onion are revealed later on, and it does, like I said, make the world feel a lot smaller than it was led to believe, but at the same time, it makes each character more important to each other, and it really does leave the door wide open for season 2. Now, the conversation with this show may be the one that I was hearing about the 3-body problem as well. Does the binge model work anymore in this time? Do they release binge model shows to their detriment? Is there a loss of interest after a week that the show is released? It has been a couple weeks since the 3-body problem came out, and while I did see a bunch of buzz that weekend that it came out, that buzz has now rescinded. Unlike shows that release weekly, which are able to keep the conversation going, to keep the content going, to keep everyone excited for the next episode, we get everything in one big swoosh, and then it's gone. I've seen some people really enjoy the binge model. They love just sitting down in one night, watching all of it, and then their thoughts are put out there. While I do get it and enjoy it myself, I will have to push back and say that I do think a weekly release is more exciting and really important for getting eyes onto a show. Because if you tell somebody that, a show just came out and they need to watch it, they'll go, okay, it's on my list, whatever. But then they go, there's a show coming out every week. Maybe they can catch up a couple weeks in the future, and then they're on board for the next episode and the next episode. It's really a way to drive the culture, a way to drive the conversation. People still have water cooler conversations, and there really hasn't been a show that has grabbed the population as hardcore as like a Game of Thrones or Walking Dead. Now, I bet all these shows would love to be that. I'm not sure if this is going to be that. No offense to the show, I think it does deserve all the praise, all the viewership, especially because the show does make fun of huge corporations basically privatizing everything, which is the biggest irony considering what platform it's on. But this isn't the first time that Amazon has kind of allowed this type of criticism, this type of storytelling to occur. With, of course, we have The Boys, we have the Vought Corporation. The tone, it's not all over the place. It does fit along with this Fallout series. It isn't just a hardcore, sad, dystopian, nuclear Fallout show. It actually has a lot of heart, a lot of humor, and then it does have a lot of serious tones as well. The graphics, some of the CG is a little rough, but a lot of it does fit, and the gore is top notch. I think they hired some of the people from The Boys or something, because the gore does look great, and there's a lot more of it than I was expecting going in. Again, talking about the dehumanization of the body. So like I said, if you are interested at all in this type of story, I would definitely suggest watching the Fallout show. It looks like, hopefully, we're going to get a season 2. We're going to continue the story. I'm really happy to see Walton Goggins get a leading role that isn't like a bad guy. I know he's been in a bunch of things, but most of the time I've seen him as the Black Hat, as the bad guy. So while he does have a tinge of gray here, he overall is a good dude. He really wants to do what's right. He wants his family back. And he gets a leading role here that really does suit him really well. So all props to the cast. Everyone did a great job. I was laughing out loud at multiple places. And everything kept me interested. Everything kept me on the screen. And like I said, if you're interested at all in this type of series, I would recommend it full-heartedly. I think you'll have a great time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go play Fallout 4, because I never beat it. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to subscribe. Also, hit that like button, it really does help out the channel. Let me know your thoughts on the Fallout show, and have a great day.